Fairness is the lie that keeps men docile. You were taught that rules protect you, that morality shields you, that playing honorably earns respect. That conditioning is the leash. Ruthless minds know this, and they exploit it with surgical precision. They do not fight on equal ground. They engineer the battlefield so you bleed before the first strike. Conflict is not a contest of ideals, it is predation. The predator does not ask permission, does not negotiate, does not care about balance. He calculates weakness, isolates it, and feeds. When you cling to fairness, you broadcast vulnerability. You announce to the ruthless that you are prey. The illusion of fairness is a narcotic. It numbs you into believing that restraint is noble. But nobility is currency only in stories told to the weak. In reality, restraint is a signal. It tells the ruthless that you will hesitate, that you will forgive, that you will absorb damage without retaliation. That hesitation is fatal. Every system, workplace, relationship, society, pretends to honor fairness. Yet beneath the surface, hierarchy is enforced by those willing to discard it. The man who believes in fairness becomes the servant of the man who weaponizes its absence. This is the inversion. Fairness is not protection, it is exposure. To shatter the illusion, you must strip morality from conflict. See it for what it is, a selection process. The ruthless select victims by testing who clings to ideals. They probe for loyalty, for forgiveness, for hesitation. When they find it, they consume it. This chapter reframes your lens. Stop believing fairness exists. It is theater, staged to pacify the masses. Behind the curtain, predators write the script. If you continue to play by rules, you are not a participant. You are the sacrifice.
Ruthless minds operate like machines, cold, precise, and stripped of hesitation. They do not improvise, they execute. Every tactic they deploy is engineered to dismantle your defenses and rewire your responses. To understand their machinery, you must see the gears: inversion, leverage, and silence. The first gear is inversion. They flip values upside down. Loyalty becomes a trap. Kindness becomes a weakness. Trust becomes a weapon against you. What you believe is strength, they redefine as submission. This inversion destabilizes your identity, forcing you to question whether your virtues are virtues at all. The second gear is leverage. Ruthless minds never attack directly, they exploit what you give them. Every confession, every display of emotion, every act of forgiveness becomes ammunition. They store it, wait, and strike when you are most exposed. Leverage is not about force, it is about turning your own weight against you. The third gear is silence. They do not reveal intent. They do not explain. They let you fill the void with your own assumptions, and those assumptions become chains. Silence is not absence, it is pressure. It forces you to reveal yourself while they remain concealed. Together, these gears form a system. Inversion destabilizes, leverage exploits, silence conceals. The machinery runs without emotion, without hesitation. It is not personal, it is structural. You are not attacked as an individual, you are processed as prey. This chapter exposes the mechanism so you no longer pretend ruthless tactics are random. They are deliberate, repeatable, and merciless. Once you see the machinery, you cannot unsee it. You realize every interaction is a test, every gesture a probe, every silence a trap.
Predators wear masks, but their patterns are consistent. To dismantle ruthless minds, you must classify them, not by appearance, but by behavior. Archetypes reveal the blueprint of exploitation. The calculating manipulator thrives on precision. He studies your habits, your words, your weaknesses. Every smile is a probe, every compliment a test. He does not strike impulsively. He waits until your guard is lowered, then inserts control disguised as trust. His weapon is patience. His battlefield is intimacy. The silent dominator operates without noise. He does not argue. He does not explain. His silence is suffocating, forcing you to reveal yourself while he remains concealed. You mistake his quiet for passivity, but it is pressure. He wins by forcing you to act first, exposing your position while he remains untouchable. The deceptive ally cloaks himself in loyalty. He appears supportive, even protective, but every gesture is calculated to bind you. He offers help, but the help is a leash. You believe you have an ally, but in truth, you have surrendered sovereignty. His betrayal is not sudden, it is gradual, engineered so you never see the moment you became property. These archetypes are not separate, they overlap, combine, and evolve. A ruthless mind may shift masks depending on the prey. What matters is not the disguise, but the extraction, submission, silence, dependence. This chapter forces recognition. Once you see the archetypes, you cannot unsee them. Every interaction becomes a hunt, every gesture a test. You realize predators are not rare, they are everywhere, and they are watching for hesitation. History is not a record of fairness. It is a graveyard of those who believed in it. The ruthless ascend because they discard illusions, while the idealists are consumed by them. Every empire, every dynasty, every regime is built not on mercy, but on calculated brutality. Consider the rise of Rome. It did not expand through kindness, it expanded through conquest, deception, and the systematic destruction of rivals. Those who clung to honor codes were annihilated, while those who inverted morality became rulers. The lesson is clear. Survival belongs to those who weaponize ruthlessness. Look at corporate empires in the modern age. The titans of industry did not rise by playing fair. They crushed competitors, exploited weaknesses, and rewrote rules to favor themselves. The myth of ethical success is propaganda for the masses. Behind closed doors, power is seized through predation. Even in personal relationships, history repeats. Leaders, kings, and generals who trusted loyalty were betrayed. Those who demanded silence and obedience endured. The ruthless understand that human nature is opportunistic. Given the chance, people will exploit weakness. The predator anticipates this and strikes first. The pattern is undeniable. Mercy is punished. Hesitation is fatal. Fairness is exploited. The ruthless ascend because they recognize conflict as selection. They do not wait to be chosen, they choose themselves, and they eliminate rivals without remorse. This chapter deepens the threat. You are not facing isolated manipulators, but a principle embedded in human history. Ruthlessness is not an anomaly, it is the engine of dominance. If you cling to fairness, you are reenacting the fate of every fallen idealist. Ruthless minds expect compliance. They expect hesitation, apology, and defense. Their machinery is designed to process weakness. To break them, you must invert the system. Turn their tactics back upon them with precision. This is not resistance, it is reversal. The first shift is cold detachment. Do not explain, do not justify, do not defend. Every word you give them is leverage. Silence becomes your weapon. Where they expect reaction, you deliver nothing. This forces them into uncertainty, stripping their control. The second shift is calculated mimicry. Use their own tactics against them. When they probe, you probe deeper. When they conceal, you conceal longer. When they attempt inversion, you invert it back. This is not imitation, it is domination through reflection. You become the mirror that exposes their machinery. The third shift is strategic unpredictability. Ruthless minds thrive on patterns. Break them. Alter your rhythm, disrupt expectations, and deny them the ability to anticipate. Unpredictability is not chaos, it is controlled dissonance. It forces them to waste energy recalculating while you remain sovereign. The fourth shift is selective aggression. Do not lash out blindly. Strike only when the leverage is yours. A single calculated move, delivered without warning, destroys their illusion of control. Aggression is not constant, it is surgical. One cut at the right moment dismantles their entire framework. This chapter transforms your behavior from prey to predator. You no longer absorb their tactics, you weaponize them. The ruthless cannot process reversal. Their machinery malfunctions when their own tools are turned against them. What was once domination becomes collapse.
Weakness is not corrected, it is eradicated. To ascend, you must undergo identity death, the surgical dismantling of the self that clings to fairness, loyalty, and approval. That old identity is the infection, and as long as it breathes, you remain prey. The first incision is detachment from validation. You no longer seek recognition, applause, or reassurance. Every desire for approval is a leash, and ruthless minds pull it to control you. Kill the need, silence the craving. Sovereignty begins when you stop asking to be seen. The second incision is erasure of hesitation. Hesitation is the pause that predators exploit. It is the moment you weigh morality against survival. That pause is death. Reconstruction demands immediacy, cold, decisive action without apology. You do not explain, you execute. The third incision is abandonment of inherited morality. The codes you were taught, be kind, be loyal, be fair, are chains forged by those who benefit from your submission. Identity death requires inversion. Kindness becomes camouflage, loyalty becomes leverage, fairness becomes a weapon you wield, not a rule you obey. Once the old identity is dismantled, reconstruction begins. You build a sovereign self defined not by ideals, but by selection. You choose what to reveal, what to conceal, what to destroy. You become untouchable because you no longer play the game of fairness. You write the rules of predation. This chapter completes the transformation. The prey self dies and the predator self emerges. You are no longer a participant in morality's theater. You are the director, the architect, the sovereign. The ruthless cannot consume you because you have become one of them, yet colder, sharper, and untouchable. Most men will never escape. They will cling to fairness, loyalty, and weakness until they are consumed. They will watch predators dismantle them piece by piece, and they will call it fate. That is the destiny of the masses, docile, disposable, forgotten. The final warning is simple. If you hesitate, you are already marked. Ruthless minds do not forgive, they do not pause, they do not spare. They select prey by testing for softness, and once identified, the process is irreversible. You cannot plead, you cannot negotiate, you cannot return to innocence. The elite directive is colder. Abandon the herd. Do not seek belonging among the weak. Sovereignty demands isolation, silence, and selection. You choose who enters your orbit, and you discard those who drain it. The ruthless cannot consume you if you refuse to be available. This chapter closes the transformation. You are given the choice: remain prey or ascend into the predator class. Most will fail because failure is easier. But for those who embrace inversion, who weaponize silence, who discard morality, the ascent is inevitable.
The directive is not motivation, it is command. You either execute it or you are executed by those who already have.